So, welcome back, and CLG, as we said, with it all to do, they are playing for their tournament lives here, and a chance, of course, to get into our televised finals on TBS, 10 p.m. Eastern. They've got to go up against SK Gaming, who are looking very good, guys.
Yeah, looking very, very good, led by Magic.
Good observation there, Richard.
Yeah. That's why I
good.
get paid the big money.
Yeah, I mean, this is now it comes to the point where we ask the question. We've talked about some of the slumping players in CLG is how mentally strong are they to be able to bounce back after that first map? Because that was a thrashing.
Oh, it definitely was a thrashing. And here's the thing. We talked about this yesterday. Cobblestone, very good map for SK Gaming. I know CLG can play this map, right? Okay, there's no doubt about it. But SK Gaming are no slouches. I just feel that all the maps CLG is strong on, I think SK Gaming is just a little bit stronger on them for me.
Well, the thing about CLG as well, day one, they lost huge on the first map, and then they came back really strong on the second map. So we know that they can kind of put one map behind them completely and start fresh. They've done that before, especially in this tournament, but even if they do that this time, I think like too many players are just underperforming right now for them to have a chance against SK, who's looking stronger every game.
They need Overpass to be like that carrot that leads the donkey. They're like Eeyore. They're like that old, tired donkey that's just like limping around, all morose and sad.
I do know about that, actually. I've been called that donkey before.
It's Cobblestone, though.
Yeah.
This is...
It says it right there.
Well, just sit it out for a moment, Mo. Put him in timeout. So here's the thing. One of the things that hasn't happened as well in the recent games has been, Hazed had that incredible first day, super explosive, best player on the team. He was the entry fragger extraordinaire, one of the few people to be in that opening kill stat from that day. Kind of just dropped off. And this is the problem. We wouldn't ordinarily look to him, but if your other stars, Tarek's been kind of non-existent, JDM's been up and down, if they don't turn up, then people have to take that step forward.
I feel like he's already shown himself, though. Like, he's already done more than you could ask of him. Because, like we said, no one was really looking at Hayes to be an overperformer.
No.
I mean, I feel like it's on the star players to really step up now, not on Hayes.
The thing about Hayes is he is it's some of the biggest upset wins that this CLG has had. Hayes has been that top performer even when they beat Fnatic a while back. But Hayes only has that game like once in every 5. You just kind of know that what you're going to get from him, and it's not enough.
Well,
That's
guys,
just the truth.
Quick predictions. Let's do it. Let's commit.
Come on, CLG.
Patriotic Moses, come on. I salute your patriotism, sir.
I want to hear you do the anthem. I'll take CLG again. I have to believe they're going to at least get one.
If CLG win this series, I might sing the anthem. But it's not going to happen. So you have to believe in CLG taking this one. Which anthem? Yeah.
I believe that. I honestly, just from what I saw from SK, I feel like they're just way too strong right now to lose.
I think it's 2-0 to SK. Let's get into this one then. We'll have a map fly through, and then James and DDK can bring you the action.
Cobblers is coming up. CLG won the 9th round. They will start on the CT side. Some would argue the T side is favored over the CT side, but hey, CLG looking comfortable enough to choose the CT side. Again, we've seen rabid aggression on most of their pistol rounds on the CT side. Not particularly in the previous map, but we see it here. That is a question.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see how it all plays out, and it's going to be a lot of grenades on Modi, who is leading the charge here for the SK side towards the B plateau, but that said, they've split off from him now, and he's just going to be tossing in those grenades, and I believe just kind of faking out CLG. A lot of teams expect that B rush at the start, and Modi's thrown so many nades that actually CLG have pulled, well, are still keeping 4 players on the B side of the map. This is a super smart strategy, and Tarek's going to pop Modi, but will Pitta be able to do the damage here? He gets a frag, which actually is a pretty good shout, to be honest. We have SK still trying to get the bomb planted here, and CLG have arrived onto the scene, but they are being diverted here by these clocks. Cillian and Pimp coming in strong. JDM back in there with that USP, but the bomb will finally go down for SK, and CLG definitely have a lot on their hands.
Harassment is the name of the game here, and CLG will be harassed. That bait was 8 out of 8 then. 4 players moving over towards the B-bomb site. Peter left all on his own. Took 1 frag, got instantly traded. Modi pretty hype here. And haven't seen that much enthusiasm from him ever that.
It's not so common in Swedish players.
No, it's not. They're busier putting t-shirts in freezers then. Well, CLG going for the force buy. 2 scouts coming out for the CT side. Not much in the name of Kevlar though. Cutler's got the 1 HE for the team and a CZ. JDM onto a P250. Hazed may have won himself. Not much going on here for CLG. Flash is being collected as well. Bit more of a late buy coming in actually. See Hayes picking up Kevlar as well. JDM on the tree position. Now there was a team, I wonder if it was SK, I don't recall, where on the executes to the B bomb site on Cobblestone, they were often not putting Molotovs into the tree position, which ended up being could have been quite key, but actually wasn't exploited by the CT side. We'll see later on if they choose to do that, should they execute into the B bomb site. For the time being, most of the forces are over towards A. Hayes and Peter are playing at the back of the A side. Cutler's going to be the man lurking around the connector, not in the connector itself. He can't afford really to take those close quarters engagements. If the SK put 2, maybe 3 people in there. With a CZ, he can only do so much. Now, SK biding their time. Modi starting to harass again over towards the bomb site. So far, so good. Turret going down. But again, we start to be concerned with the clock here. 45 seconds left here for SK to try and make their way onto one of these 2 sites and clear everyone out.
And, well, I say everyone, there's just one here. The CLG side is Pitta. He gets taken down fairly easily. And only Modi, who is on the B side of the map, has been lost so far for SK. So the real push has been successful. And SK, you know, this is one of the defaults that they can kind of run. Just they give so much responsibility to Modi to play it smart towards B. His job is often to either try to get a kill, try to bait out grenades, get information, but primarily not to die. And in doing so, by not dying and continuing to provide presence, you delay rotation of the players from B towards A, because it can always be B. Sorry, you never know if there's more people behind Modi, and that's such an important thing to have in your team, is a player that can smartly play that, because it is very hard to do that correctly. And we'll see that Modi will be doing that in this map for SK Gaming, and that's the second round won by them. They've managed to survive the force bite, but what I do like from CLG is that they look to be saving a Mach 10 and a scout with Kevlar, so there is something to play with in the next round for them.
I often see that when the CT side and Cobblestone lose pistol rounds, the first 7 or so rounds tend to be horrific for the CT side. So the question is, can SK get off to a flying start once the buy comes in for CLG? First, there's one more round for them to contend with what CLG saved from the previous round. Not really strong enough to buy Kevlar around these weapons. Cutler had Kevlar anyway, and he will continue with the Mach 10. And Tarek will go for some scout spam. Now, the other question is, will CLG try to stack one of the 2 sites? We can expect another slow round from SK, although they will realize that there'll be less bought by CLG in this particular round, so maybe they'll go a bit faster. But again, the Mach 10 scout can still be dangerous. And it's quite a similar round to what we saw previous here. Modi not going to be going too deep over towards the B-bomb site just yet. He's going to be looking at drop, making sure there's no flank from either drop or the B-bomb site. Meanwhile, the rest of his team will clear out slowly towards A.
Absolutely, it's going to be it's quite tough here for CLG if they get locked out by smoke grenades. That's going to be quite annoying. Let's see if they can get a good inkling as to what's going on before all those grenades block them off. And we get a nice little pop flash. Yeah, I think that's actually a missed flash there from Assyrian, but it won't matter. There's nobody close range to punish. And we have now CLG trying to get some players in there, squeezing them through those angles into a defensive position. But again, great usage of grenades, and Pimp with the clean out. There's nothing on the bomb site left to defend with for CLG. Just JDM with that P250, picks up the scout, and looks like he will go down. So pretty well played by SK. They lose 0 players. And again, that is so key. We saw how important that was on the...
No!
Wow, okay then.
I can't do this, Dan.
All right then. That chicken that's a bit too well done. I like it a little bit.
That is
less well done.
I would say cremated, but it's not really fire, is it? It's explosion. But anyway, we have to move on, Dan. We have to put it behind us. We have to focus on the future, not the past. But buys coming out for both sides. Modi opting to stay with the UMP, and this is great because, as I mentioned, the UMP, for example, has 6 times the headshot range of the Bison that you saw Fugly buying earlier. There are no helmets on the CLG side. That UMP is going to be monstrous.
It will indeed. What is this? Hayes just runs straight through the smoke there. That is a really nice play. He realizes that, you know, Assyrian's just shooting through the smoke there, and so the Tracerfy gives away the position of Assyrian, and Hayes just takes the read and goes with it. That's really nice to see that kind of confidence, because you can't have any second guessing in that situation. So Hayes winning an early round advantage for himself, and that's a very unusual way to find an advantage as a CTs.
Risk reward, and he will be rewarded on this occasion. CLG, though, have not been rewarded with many grenades. They've got loads of flashbangs, though, so if there is an execute coming in from SK, they can do their best to slow things down, to cause problems, bedlam, anarchy, and try to punish that a bit later on. But it seems that SK may make a play for the drop zone here. They've smoked off one half of it. That's going to deny Cutler vision. He is playing around the connector area. You can see Magic's boy move in, and he has a bro in for support. So they've got a trade situation, and this puts them in a strong situation to take the B bomb site. And the split, it limits where the CLG side can defend from.
And here it is. We're going to start to see SK Gaming going in for the push. They've claimed the drop zone control, and they're going to go on to the assault now. And it's Magic's boy getting wrecked by Tarek. Tarek's not done. He gets the third as well. And that's the entire push. Shut down. Great defense coming out of CLG. They knew what SK was doing there. They gave up drop zone, but they had it perfectly covered. They knew how to do that, James, and that's really important going forwards, having the confidence to give up drop, because it's a very hard position to deal with on this map.
Nobody was looking at Tarek's position, though. I mean, even before that push came in, there were 2 players in the drop zone, and there was one player who's kind of looking at the wall rather than looking at the angle there, and he was exposed to it at the same time. So it's no surprise that that came in. I guess the push was supposed to come in from the plateau a bit earlier, but either way, Tarek absolutely annihilated SK there, and that is a first round on the board for CLG. Both teams going to be coming out with the buy. The money's not spectacular for either side, so important rounds definitely to come. That's an early first round for CLG as well, their first buy round. If that didn't go their way, then things could have been a lot worse for the next rounds, but now they have much potential to get back into this, even up the score really quickly.
Yeah, and right now, actually, JDM is on the B plateau with that AWP. It's a double rifle. Oh, actually, yeah, double rifle setup on the A bomb site, which is what CLG will use to try to defend this bulk of players, which is coming their way from SK. Now, SK, they have control of danger. They've got control of the middle area towards A, as well as that long area. So they have definitely a very, very prominent force starting to build up there in those positions. But CLG are reading it. SK, they've been dilly-dallying perhaps for too long. CLG, once again, they know what's coming, but they have to prove, just like that B attack in the previous round, that they can defend the A assault as well. Here come the flashes, and Modi's trying to get in there. He can't even turn around. He gets shot straight away by JDM, and Hazed is going to be in position now close to trying to shut down the A long push, and he's doing a fantastic job. Takes the first frag. There's the second. Hazed is alive, and is keeping it going. It's just Freeze left now for the SK Gaming side, and that bomb is down. 20 seconds to go as well. It's going to be a tough ask for Freeze with that AWP, but he's going to give it his all. And these positions are so unknown right now. What a desperate place to be in Freeze's position. He does spot Cutler, but just diving into the air, James. He holds up his hands and knows that there's nothing he can do.
Indeed, and CLG's confidence will be riding as high as those patriotic socks in the crowd, Dan. They get their second round on the board, some momentum going their way. Consecutive rounds will be good for their confidence. Again, after a dominant performance from SK, this is exactly what they need in the second game. Didn't survive with too many players, though, so that's going to be an impact on their economy. You can see Pizza perhaps with a read as to the eco from SK picks up the MP9. So he can get aggressive, he can go down for his team, and he can also make a lot of money. Pimp going for the Julies again. I don't know. I don't understand.
Why, James?
They're the same price as a Tech 9, and a Tech 9 has better moving accuracy. To me, there's no reason to pick up Julies, Dan. None.
Let's just get right. Well, we have the push coming in there. JDM's going to be tested with these pistols, and that will be a couple of frags, but Pitter steps up to the plate, and he is going to deliver there, just knocking down these echoing players of SK Gaming one at a time until there is no one left. CLG with their third round, and SK Gaming back to the buy. Can CLG keep the momentum going? Or will they falter against what is going to be an interesting situation for SK? Because they've tested both A and B now, so they should have a good kind of feeling as to which side is going to be more favorable for them at the moment.
I don't want to see Julies again, Dan. Not today. Let's hope Pimp can honor this unspoken agreement. AWP onto both sides still on the buy, despite SK's best efforts. Now, that boulder to JDM's left is a really good spot for Orpus to look over a smoke in, but they have to be scared because the T's can charge straight for the smoke just like that. Pizza has no answer for the side. So the A site's been lost. The CT's on the wrong end of the choke point. Hayes needs to get to the balcony quickly, but he's going to be severely outnumbered. So far, so good. Doesn't take much damage either. Moving around the smoke, Pimp will take him down. 4 versus 2 now, and CLG have a decision to make. This round will probably look unwinnable to them already. And indeed, it seems they will go for the save.
They do have lots of money though, but yeah, the save is definitely smarter because the percentage chance for them to win this round is probably way less than 10%, and it would require SK Gaming to make a lot of mistakes, and so there's just really no reason to go for it. And right now, you know, the CLG are in kind of a cool position. I mean, it would be nicer if they got a few more frags, but the money on SK is really bad, actually, even though they'll get a nice chunk of change from winning this round. But because, you know, they'll have the opportunity to reset SK if CLG are able to win the next round, and that's pretty important. And they have security to, even if they can't do that, in the next round they could have another shot because their money's good. So CLG, I think, with a lot to work with right now, which is really encouraging, considering that they lost the pistol round. As you said, you know, normally CT size, when they lose the pistol round, they have a horrible time on this map, but CLG are in a good position.
Just want to say, dual Berettas, when you're running, they're almost twice as inaccurate as a Tech 9.
Let it go, James. Let it go.
Stop trying to be trendy with
Let the man have his preference.
No. Both sides still managed to get out a bye, so the pressure will continue on the economy of both teams, which still happens to be similar for the time being. Orbs will continue onto both teams. Tons of Molotovs on the CLG side. Their grenade situation is much better than it was in previous rounds, and it needs to be the way SK are headed towards this B-bomb site.
And once again, Modi's in first, and again, that's always what you want with the setup that they've had, as I've discussed before. You know, if they see Modi, it looks the same as every round, but he's going to dive in again, looking for the entries. Modi shot in the back by Tarek. Tarek delivers yet again, swifts to the AK, doesn't do much with it though, unfortunately for him. 3 players there for SK Gaming as they assault the site, but there's still players here. In Cutler, we've got him standing by the statue. I don't think that these positions, no, the bomb will go down and the flashes will rain in. Cutler has a great opportunity to get a frag here, just barely manages to get it onto Magic's boy. 2 versus 4 now as Cutler holds down that statue position. The forward spot is going to help his team dramatically getting back in here. Pimp trying to fight his way out desperately with that AK. Gets 1 frag, but he will eventually fall. It's down to Freeze now, 1 versus 3, and he can't get it done. The coach again. Pitta in with the finishing blow onto Freeze. There it is.
That was really smart play by Cutler. He could have tried to stop the bomb plant from going down, but he chose to use the positional advantage and try and get more frags out of it. And when that frag came in, they had no idea where it came from, so really nicely done by him. 4-4 now, things get evened up, but still, SK just keep bringing out buy after buy after buy. It's really down to the UMP, but there are more guns coming the way of CLG.
Guns for days. And the double AWP is going to be a nice mix-up too. I mean, it might not be something that SK expect, but we'll have to see how the approach of SK works, because they might pick a kind of a round that will just immediately be very good against a double AWP setup. But it is just, again, you know, Modi throwing in the usual harassment here again. He's just trying to get his presence known, see if he can get some info. And sometimes, again, you know, players in this position, they can just get a couple frags even. And that can change everything. But Tarek's gotten boosted up here. This is very dangerous. Modi's still just harassing. Doesn't realize that he's pushed up, but now Tarek has given up his position. And Modi knows that he's AWPing from that spot. Now he's going to back away safely.
In the meantime, Jaden was peeking through the mid door, the underpass door, with no smokes whatsoever. And now Magic's boy is causing even more havoc. No frags for the CT side just yet. This could be a complete wipeout. Pitta with 1 AWP has no choice but to run away. SK have imposed their will on CLG in this round. And again, the financial troubles for both teams will continue, but mainly for CLG right now. They'll be able to field a buy in the next round should they choose to. Got 2 players with difficult money. If Pitta can hold on to this AWP, it will be crucial. You see Hayes with only $400 coming into the next round. And having won the last round, they will get only $1,400 for losing this one. So it's crucial, but Isilian is creeping. He's close to Pitta. Doesn't know exactly where he is, and Pitta has to wait a while. That extended bomb time are causing problems here for the CT side. And he can't even afford to scope in. Sees a flying Isilian, he will hit him in the leg, but there it is. The AWP gets taken away, snatched from the clutches of Pitta. The Kung Fu grip was not there, Dan.
Absolutely, and now we have, as you mentioned, that spot where, you know, CLG, okay, they have some money, but they only really have 1 good buy now. So it's eco if they lose this, and that would be a key moment for SK to take over the first half. So SK, you know, they've done what they need to do. They just got to close this round as well, and then they'll really be off to a roaring start. So CLG, they've got Hayes on a PC-50. Everybody else is looking pretty good on the equipment. So we'll have to see if that actually will be an effect. And Hayes is going to be supporting Pitta, and Pitta has no nades, so the A defense here is really kind of awful actually as far as what they have to work with for CLG. And looks like Hayes is going to go down immediately. Isilian just entering in there, and that leaves Pitta alone on the A site. And SK have so much time to decide.
Yeah, Hayes going for the hero play, flashing himself through the smoking game, but this time he only had a P250. He was a lamb to the slaughter, Dan. He got taken down with ease. Speaking of ease, Modi get with a great shot onto JDM. That's the AWP out of play for the time being as well. 3 players and 2 sites to defend. Pitta is stuck on the A site. There's no way he can even retreat from this position. And he has 4 SK players charging in his direction. Down he goes immediately. So CLG having a troublesome CT half now, but the final 2 players are moving towards the A bomb site. Bomb's getting planted, and they will start to move away now. Tarek picked up the AWP, but again, the hunt continues.
If they survive with 2 players, they might actually be able to scrape out a buy. Okay, actually, no. Well, I mean, they could try to force it up, but it's not going to be a respectable buy. So this is going to be really adding insult to injury. Look at Magisboy go there. The first frag made and almost transferring onto Tarek. Long range with the AWP. He gets nothing. Magisboy finishes them both off. Ruthless hunting there from the SK Gaming side. And they've done it. They've closed the round they needed to close to take control of the first half. That is 6-4. It should be set going into 7-4 because CLG will want to eco in this round. And they can't really even afford to buy even more than a couple pistols. They're really, really down on money. Yeah,
the money has indeed been broken for the CT side. I'm surprised we saw so many rounds of buy versus buy to get to this point, but indeed, one team has finally fallen. 1/3 of the first half left. Doesn't look good for CLG at the moment. Putting the numbers towards long A. Got 2 P250s. And again, Modi is the man. He's the expendable man, jumping around with the Mac-10. Mac-10 actually has good jumping accuracy. Or is it the MP9? Either way, the frags are coming in. Asilian was for support as well. And Modi can take a back seat with 6 HP. So he doesn't have to spend that extra $1,000 on the armor next round. Got a fair amount of nades as well. So he's got about 2K to hold on to here as the remaining SK side search for Cutler.
And there's no real need for them to kill him as well. And I think they should realize that if they've been doing a good job keeping track of the money of their opposition. And it is quite easy to do that. And if you're a professional team, you should definitely be able to understand very, very much what is most likely as far as the choices economically of your opponent. They realize there's no value in even killing Cutler because they would have to go close where Cutler would have a really good chance to get a frag. And what happens if they get the kill on Cutler? Well, maybe $300 in bonus money, and they get rid of a P250. So Cutler's actually going to peek there, which is probably the smarter thing to do. And Magisboy will win the fight, but actually Cutler almost got a kill there, so a little bit dangerous. But great entries here coming in from Modi and Asilian, and that was it. Very decisively done by SK Gaming. Good anti-eco round.
3-round lead at the moment. Again, this is a difficult side, the CT side. And maybe CLG chose to start on the CT side to figure out what exactly they need to do on the T side. So 4 rounds out of 11 so far. It's not a complete disaster. They're giving themselves breathing room going into the second half. But with the buy coming back out for CLG, they will definitely want much more space to breathe going in. They've got a good chance of doing that. But they are limited on the grenades. You can get some nice pop flashes over towards the B platform, but with that smoke coming down, it's very risky indeed. We saw Tarek have a bit of a jump into that smoke earlier on, but it's often sprayed as well. Safer places to boost at the back of the plateau. Him moving quickly into the drop zone, and he's going to charge through the smoke. But again, there's a player in the tree position. JDM coming in here. No Molotovs. Freeze to take Tarek down. But there are problems here for SK.
And Freeze is getting close with the AWP. He realizes he has to do something massive here. The smokes are everywhere. This is really tough. Freeze gets a free frag. Maybe a second, can't quite connect the no-scope, but Modi's in there. Takes down Pitta. 1 versus 2 for Modi. Doable, but the double peek from Cutler and Hayes. That's going to be that. And that was a really close one, but CLG managed to hold on. You see Freeze there, maybe a look of disbelief. Feeling like they really had that one. And again, you know, what I really love is how SK construct these rounds, because every round where they attack B, it looks the same as rounds when they don't attack B. Modi just pushing B plateau alone, boom, it's instantly a rush. So very nice that CLG react quickly.
Despite winning the round, CLG, because of how broke they were, have a worse buy than SK. You can see Pitta on the UMP in this particular round. And only 1 nade, the HE as well, so happy times not in that camp at the moment. They are closing the gap though, only 2 rounds between these 2 players, and every round they can scrape here on the CT side is going to be really crucial going into the second half. Asilian taking some damage at the moment, going down to 15 HP, but no kills for either side just yet. Got 3 plays over towards B for the CT side, and Hayes playing quick rotation at the top of the hill, with Pitta playing further down, but that smoke will push the CT's away. Nice frag though, and that's going to give a bit of information to the CT side. You can see they don't think Asilian's alone. They're rotating a third person into the A bomb site now. SK biding their time. They've still got a minute to play with. They can wait for that smoke to disappear. They'll be relatively comfortable with the late game. And indeed, Modi is now rotating away. The man who plays the harassment game, who keeps people entertained over towards B. The fact he won't be doing that may put a fourth player for CLG over towards A.
Well, Muddy gets a spot there, and there's 2 players here, and that's going to be definitely quite annoying if Muddy was to push, but he's got actually a player there, Pimp is going to spot it, and he takes down Pitta. That was a really nice setup from CLG, but it's been discovered and neutralized. But speaking of neutralizing, Cutler takes down Freeze, although Magisboy pushes things forwards for SK Gaming. Try to press the attack here, but they are running out of members, SK Gaming, but as they run out, Modi is still taking good position, still fragging, and it's just JDM left. And it's such a hard spot with an open. Pimp finishes it off SK Gaming. It was actually really close, and they got very, very low on the health, but they managed to win the round. SK 8 now to the 5 of CLG. And there you go.
Between the legs, no less, Dan.
Indeed, that's not how you want to go.
No doctor can save him now. 2 rounds left. SK are swimming in cash for the most part. You see the buy has come in, and there's definitely enough money for the rest of the team to buy in the next round, no matter what happens. CLG in a bad state. Only pistols. This is a forced buy from them as well. They don't have much. Pitter's left himself with $600-ish. That aside, there's not much going on here for CLG. This may mean aggression, but they don't even have much to be aggressive with. They've put 4 people over towards the A site, with Cutler playing the harassment game. And that CZ is going to be very dangerous from that position. The nade will fail, which may make SK a bit scared to challenge the position again. Again, SK playing passively towards A for the time being. They don't really have much information, but CLG, with little information as well, going to gamble and move the entire team away from the A site. So the clock play may pay off here for SK.
Yeah, it's definitely going to work out. It's quite funny how they swapped sides like this. And again, I really love that SK open up the B plateau, pressure every round the same. It's a really, really nice approach. And Cutler's going to be pushing B plateau, so now CLG actually knows what's happening. And if the push is not quick enough here from SK, these pistols will get into position to defend this, and SK might not have enough time to change their mind and go back to B. And even if they were to do that, Cutler's on a really nice flanking position. CLG could actually legitimately win this round, and it's going to be tough here for SK maybe to get in. Oh, that is a great snap from Freeze, though. Very much needed as well. And after that, it looks quite easy here for SK to express that advantage on the weaponry. But JDM in the sneaky position. Will the rush to SK check it? Yes, they will, the bomber. But what is this? The spray down with that 5-7. JDM picks up the AK, and Pitta finishes off Freeze. What a disaster there. Catastrophic for SK Gaming. CLG claim their 6th round, but SK is still 2 ahead.
I'm fairly sure that the T side had more than 1 Molotov, and you can see the curved wall to the right. You can bounce a Molotov into that corner from behind the wooden area there. So if they did have more than 1 Molly, there's no excuse, there's no reason for that to happen. CLG perhaps gifted another round here. 6th round, fairly good on the CT side, all things considered.
It really is, absolutely. They've done a very good job here, and maybe that's one of the reasons why they chose the CT side. They must have, I mean, they have some confidence here, and they've got the plays as well. And SK also showing that they've got the strategies, but it's going to be down to this mid push. Let's see if it's going to be able to reap any rewards early on. Going for that contact play, mixing things up, and Haste actually spots it, picks up a free kill as well. That's exactly how you want to do it as the CLG side start to now rotate back into the A side. And Pitta's in there as well. Modi, though, up to its usual shenanigans. 2 frags for him.
Numbers being cut down for both sides. Bomb is on the floor at the moment. Modi's not far behind. Oh, Freeze missing another no-scope. And again, that's a big frag for Pitta. And now the CTs have got a crossfire onto Modi. Makes his way through into CT spawn, but it's not enough. 7 to 8. That's a pretty good CT side for CLG.
That shot from Freeze is really, look at this. He realizes that he messed up there. That's a really, really bad way to lose a round. I mean, that's the kind of action that could maybe really affect Freeze psychologically moving forwards. We'll have to see. As we've hit now the half time, 8 to 7. SK will be leading, but CLG with quite the resurgence, I must say. And they definitely look poised to take this 2nd map, but we will find out soon. We'll be back after the break. Welcome back, ladies and gents. It is time for the second half here on Cobblestone between CLG and SK Gaming. It is map 2 between these two sides here, and as we can see, we've got a bit of a matchup here between JDM64 and Modi. And Modi's been having a really good game. He's top fragging for his team. JDM, he's actually got a similar frag count to the rest of his teammates. He's not had a huge impact on the CT side with the AWP. And I think on the T side, it's going to be even harder for him to do well with that AWP.
I noticed that the trophy is also reclining, Dan. They've taken some inspiration from JDM and it is a bit laid back. Well, there's no time to be laid back in this round. Again, it's crucial if you're just joining us. CLG are a map down, as you can see in the top right corner of your screen. Hayes with some T-spawn smokes towards the chicken coop. That would suggest the B play, Dan. But what is the play from CLG? They've got players moving into the drop zone. The close quarters engagements could be had here. That is a nice smoke to allow them to make his way onto the site. But there's a crossfire here for the CTs. Trades coming in. Men down on both sides. It's going to be advantage. CLG here, but Magic Boy still over towards B. That's the bomb. The bomb's gone down now. He's got the range, but no bullets in the magazine. Can't reload in time. 2 versus 1 now. Freeze on the wrong end of things. But Tags pushing on the 1 versus 1. Can't get it done. But where is Pitta? Freeze has no idea, and there's a minute 20 on the clock. Pitta might hear the reload coming in from Freeze and have a read as to where he is. Pushing play based on that information, and indeed he will take the round for his team. The stand-in, the coach, Pitta, putting in work.
That could have been a redeeming moment for Freeze, and you can see he's really disappointed. He really wanted that. He needed that moment to come into play after what was definitely a round lost because of his failed no-scopes.
19 times out of 20, he's getting that no-scope because he's so close.
Yeah.
You can shoot it consistently from there.
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely. An AWP of his caliber. I mean, that's just kind of a psychological snafu, I think. And you know, that was a really interesting spot because I thought almost CLG are throwing that away. I mean, Tarek just pushed when they had a 2 versus 1 in that spot. Pushed alone. That's definitely a very risky move. But either way, 8-8, and we've got SK with a very conservative. Actually, it's not a conservative buy at all. They actually force up on 3 players.
You're a liar, Dan.
We've got 8 Eagle in play on Magic's Boy. We've all seen what he can do with that. And Pimp and Freeze, on the other hand, they are saving the playing conservatively. They are only investing $300 each to make sure that they can have the big guns on their buy round in the 4th round of the second half here. And Hayes is on that Mac 10, so we would expect Hayes to go first.
Minute 10. For CLG to make a play, and we've seen in history, we saw at the previous major, that CLG not the most adept team at dealing with these anti-eco rounds. And time management, Dan.
Yeah.
Perhaps they will require a seminar. We're about to find out if they're able to do that. They have few nades to deal with these players on the site. We've got 3 players on the site. Hayes gonna get the 3-pointer there, but there's still more people to deal with. Pimp in a very nasty position, but there's time on the clock for them to deal with it. Pimp's the last man standing now, and he can't do much more. So CLG survive an early test, but there will be many more to come.
Absolutely, and that was a really nice anti-eco, anti-force buy type strategy there from CLG. They ran that perfectly. You know, you have Hayes with that Mac 10, very expendable weapon. It's very good whilst you're running and jumping as well. So it's the perfect weapon to clear out players with pistols safely. And if you go down, it's no sweat because you didn't invest too much. And then once they got out into the side, they used all their grenades. It's much better from CLG because usually we'd actually see them in rounds like that sort of give up too many advantages, and they look like they've improved that, which is really encouraging to see from CLG. Winning around they're supposed to, and they just have to do it once more, James.
Look at that Molotov from Cutler. I think there might have been a boost attempt coming in, but Cutler will say no. Cutler denies it, and he will take advantage. Puts himself in a position to go for a bit of a split here, but look at this. We've got a kill from 1 player. Pimp is alone over towards A. He gets a kill over there. There are 4 players stacked on a B-bomb site. That said, the right decision is being made by CLG because they will move up in the underpass at the same time, and they have control of the choke points. Cutler is in deep as well. Freeze making it past the flashbang. Bit of a tap from the UMP, but he's got more bullets. 1 frag. Isilian goes down as well. Flies to his death there, leaving some crimson on the wall. Cutler's doing great work, cleaning things up here. Tons of frags for him. That's going to be a good boost going into the next round. 10-8 now. Still lots to play for both these teams. Ooh. We have big guns coming out, Dan. But on which side?
I know, James, tell me.
Well, we have 3 screens on this desk stand, and they're displayed on all of them. It is on the CT side. We have the double ops coming out onto Pimp and Freeze. They will be lacking grenades, but AWP, more important than grenades, perhaps. JDM, of course, will be on the AWP. He had mixed results on the other end of this potential duel on the CT side. No smoke, getting taken down for free, with plays lurking. And again, we mentioned the boulder area that people will look for on the CT side. 4 players over towards B. Maybe with a certain timing, we'll see a second one rotate towards the A site, where Pimp is holding with an AWP. Often when you're holding in long, you want somebody with you for support, a rifler, either to rifle or to perhaps hold a flashbang. But indeed, Pimp is moving all the way back to CT spawn now. We have some tags coming in now. Tarek almost framed into a picture, but not quite.
It's a good thing he is wearing shin pads, James. He is still alive. And running around. And that's going to be annoying, though, because he's very fragile at this point. And there's a lot of nades still here for CLG to make a play happen. And look at this, Cutlass going to be taking drop zone control, and the bomb will make its way towards A to rejoin the herd of CLG players that is towards that location. And Cutlass' spot here is very important because he's basically the guy that will slow down rotation and kill rotation as his teammates push into that A site and isolate the 2 players that are there. So this is a well set up round here for CLG. They just have to execute the kills and throw the grenades correctly and coordinate their way in. And it's happening, James. All the players are dying. It's just going to be Pimp who's left in the vicinity, but there's no way back in for him. He's got an AWP. How does he get in?
His teammates are moving towards his position, and indeed they're making the correct decision. I was a bit worried there because it is very almost suicidal to try and push through those choke points, but I'm not really a fan of the way SK were trying to hold the A bomb site over there. I thought maybe they'll rotate some support over towards Pimp at the beginning. Perhaps they thought they had a hard read on CLG making a play towards the B bomb site, but Pimp was left to cover the underpass and the upper A on his own, which you can't really do. There was a chance that he could get flanked one way or another, so he was forced to move into a passive position. Then you saw 3 CLG players taking all that real estate towards long for free. And then they get overwhelmed on the site, especially with Cutlass' position in the drop zone. A was extremely weak. CLG made the right choices and exploited it, Dan. And they are 3 for 3, make that 4 for 4 in the second half so far. 3-round lead as they look to tie up the games here. SK leading 1-0.
Absolutely. Now we just need to see more of that out of CLG. And this is going to give them a lot of confidence as well. And it might give us more from JDM too. As they experience more freedom, he's going to be able to do more with that AWP. And it can be quite difficult, I think, as an AWPer on the T side of this map to find opportunities to get frags. And we're going to see how JDM decides to do that, as he is the dedicated AWPer for CLG. And it's Tarek doing sort of what Modi does on the B plateau, just always being that man who's responsible for applying pressure here. And again, the key is not dying. The key is just to keep harassment up, get information, and if you can, sneak away a frag. And that's really the trick of it all, is trying to minimize indeed your own death in that effort. So far, just getting some nades out, and that's also something you need to do is count the grenades that the CTs use, because then that's going to inform you as to how strong their defense will be if you want to attack that site later on.
Again, we have Pimp over towards long on his own, but I think it was him who put a smoke down in long and then got a kill towards danger. And again, Modi's holding close to connector, so Pimp's kind of roaming around on his own with the AWP, but again, he's moved away with the sniper rifle, so back to passive positions here for CLG, who are all over towards the B bomb site now, maybe expecting the CTs to have deep control over towards A. If they can figure out the passive way SK are generally playing A later on, maybe there will be more problems for SK. So now there are 40 seconds and CLG seem hell-bent on the B bomb site. That said, Peter, maybe he's running this distraction over towards A, trying to pull rotation. Indeed, he's running back towards B now, but there's not much movement here from the CTs. Nice frag, nice entry frag onto the A bomb site from JDM.
There you go, and Magic's boys pushed. That smoke was money, trapping the bomber. JDM will clear out the front of the site, but the bomb is stuck in such an awful position right now. Magic's boys trying to hold it down with very low points of health, and he does have Pimp coming in for the flank as well. Let's see if they can get in there, but right now the time is really not going to help them either. So there it is, the frags made by Pimp and Magic's boy. And again, this is why the player in Tarek's position is so important, because you need to bait out those grenades. And we're in a situation there for SK where they were able to throw a nade with like 30 seconds left and to smoke off that forward position, and Magic's boy gets 2 easy frags because they still have that smoke.
He did really good to avoid that flashbang as well. He had maybe a third of a second and he managed to do it, which allowed him to get the 2-man spray down as CLG were forced to push through the smoke. CLG, though, had a good 7k-ish on average in the bag, and they'll have a full buy coming out. Could this be a fast play towards the B bomb site or just control? We will see JDM moving away from A. It's standard to have 1 or 2 plays over towards A for quite a while here at the beginning of a round, but CLG have put the entire forces over towards B. B and Pimp and Modi deep into A now, but Molly's on the rotation already as the push comes in here. Tarek behind us, but going to flash his way through, and the CTs will never see that coming. 2-man spray down should be coming in from Tarek, and indeed it will be. Magic's boy Cillian, the third player as well, and that should be a shutdown round.
Yeah, just pimp left, and he's just got to try to weather the assault here. There's the first frag, misses the no-scope, and CLG looking strong right now, and the money is also looking quite strong, and that's going to really give them a lot of security moving forwards. What a play here from Tarek. He was patient as well, like he saw the player drop off of the tree, but he's like, okay, I'm going to go in with the flashbang, and he knew that that flash was going to be money. Goes in for the triple kill, and that is going to be a decisive way to take advantage of SK, who are now on nothing but pistols, but we do have that deagle on Magic's boy, on Modi, and a couple more dangerous pistols on Freeze and the Cillian, 5-7, so CLG need to be careful, want to win this one clean, keep the discipline up, can't get too rowdy now. Let's see if they can do just that, keep that focus in check.
This puts CLG in a very strong position to take game 2, because the point at which SK Gaming have run out of money, of course, this should be a non-round here for SK. Should be a 3-round for CLG. So far, so good. Oh, Freeze getting sprayed down. Freeze getting sprayed out. No kills yet for SK. And that's great for CLG, because even if they they lose a round in the near future, if they survive all their players here, then they should have more money in the bank. So Pimp just trying to play close anywhere. But indeed, he will be giving away his position without knowing it. A clean round for CLG. Moses has been forcibly removed from the building. The women are safe, Dad.
They are safe for the time being, but I think he's still lurking around somewhere, James. So you've got to watch out. But we have the just three more rounds for CLG to take this one, and they need to do that cleanly. I don't want to see, you know, a situation where they start to struggle and you know, they're not able to close a game where they have such an advantage. They've been doing so well. They've shown that they're able to defeat the defenses here of SK Gaming. And well, look at this. Hayes might just get himself some juicy eco frags, James. We can see them. Of course, the players cannot see, but we can. And now they are going to be aware, and all the pistols are going to be coming in. And the bomb's there, James. This is not a good sign, actually.
Oh, dear.
But I don't think they spotted the bomb just yet, though.
But there are so many people there. Surely they're going to see the bomb.
They must. Okay, they've seen it now. This is problematic.
This is going to get mad weird real fast. Cutler making his way to the tower there, but there's no princess to be saved at.
The tower is actually a decent position to actually in this situation, because the bomb is in such a weird spot. But look at the positions. Oh, how do you deal with this? How do you deal with this? It's so strange. Because if SK Gaming is smart, they're going to play for... Okay, I was going to say play for time, but if you can deliver the headshots, just go right ahead. And that's what they do. And now it's just Tarek against 4 players. Only one has Kevlar. 2 have AKs. That might be enough.
He's got a minute. He has a minute to try and claw back what could be one of the most bizarre rounds I have seen on Cobblestone in recent memory. There's only one player with Kevlar on the SK side. But again, I mean, look how exposed the bomb is. How do you not become subject to a crossfire in this situation? He doesn't, and he's taking so much time. Even if he kills 3 people here, how is he going to plant the bomb if he retrieves it? There's not enough time to do this. All he can do is try to take the guns away at this point from the remaining CT players. CLG will still have money to buy in the following round, so that's the only thing going in his favor. The trajectory of the nade may run distraction. Modi finally goes down, but he can't get the 180. So CLG will lose a super weird round, but again, they have money. SK win an odd round, a round that should have been a formality, but they still need to spend their cash.
And that can happen as well. I mean, that was a very surprising push straight through the smoke. And, you know, sometimes timing just doesn't work out for you. So, you know, CLG are very unfortunate, I think, in many ways in that round. But we'll have to see if they can mount a recovery. Again, as you said, the money's great for them, so they don't have any stress on, you know, and having a nice buy. But the double AWP of SK is going to be quite interesting to see how that actually plays out for them, because it's Pimp on the AWP. And, of course, you know, Richard Lewis was saying, you know, okay, you're kind of denying the fact that he's a great rifler. Keep him on the rifle. We'll see if he's able to deliver here. We've got Freeze, being boosted up, and the push is going to be fast. Will Freeze respond quickly enough? Tarek straight in there through the smoke. He's onto the bomb side already. He's wondering whether the CT defense actually is. He's got a good read that Freeze is up there, though, it seems. And looks like Freeze will get taken down by Hayes. So, one after another. CLG will crush the defense of SK Gaming on this B-bomb side. And it looks like they are going to go from strength to strength here.
Indeed, that is a great way to recover from a disaster, and that crushes the SK economy just as bad as it was crushed earlier on. Pimp has the AWP for now, but surely he cannot save in the situation. Misses the Molotov as well, and nice work. He could try to get away now. He's got a good chance, but I mean, these are difficult times. This is a desperate save for Pimp if he's able to do this. He is playing this pretty smartly, but has he been spotted? Indeed he has, but he's still getting the frags. 2 plays left for the T's to try and take this AWP out of Pimp's hands. And the T's still have money in the bag. They can go for this. They can lose all their players to try and kill Pimp, and maybe they will.
Maybe they don't want to try anymore, James. It's not really working out so far. And Pimp will survive. He's run the gauntlet and he has arrived at the end, and he's found the reward, James, which is, I guess, well, just survival.
Indeed.
That's the reward.
We might see the pots and pans come out once again, Dan. Freeze has 7k. But so they're going to go double AWP, pick up the M4 as well. Mag 7 coming out. So those are all legit buys. We'll see what Modi's left with. You could play the Mag 7. You could play it and drop, although it's not ideal because you can just get spammed with nades while you're playing underneath the drop itself. So over towards the broken wall is more likely where it's going to go. Modi down to the P250, lacking in grenades as well, but it can make up for that with AWP play.
Yeah, and we have JDM moving really fast towards the end of the plateau here, and we can see Magic's Boy is indeed there with his Mag 7, as we were saying. That's the broken wall right there. And Pimp gets the opening kill onto Pit, a close range there, over by middle, over towards the other side of the map, as to what we're seeing right here. And now it's JDM just tossing in some nades, trying to get into a forward position. Magic's Boy is lurking though. He's very dangerous at these ranges with that Mag 7. If he does not get flashed correctly, a player of his caliber is likely to take some people with him before he goes down. And oh, the first shot's not going to be good, but Asilian's in there, but the trade is instant from JDM, leaving Pimp and Modi in this round against 3. Modi just with a pistol, but that's enough. He'll take the frag, but he can't get to the gun safely. That's a problem. Pimp is sprinting in here. What a frag though from Modi. Pulls out the pistol again for another one. It's JDM. He's got to go to recover the bomb, and he'll be able to do so. Picks up the frag, and in goes the flash. He seems to be maybe convinced that Pimp is from the drop zone or the side of the double doors there, but we can see that Pimp is coming in from another location. Let's see if JDM makes the right call. There's a lot of possibilities, and it's not always going to be easy to guess what the correct one is going to be. And Pimp has got himself in the site, and he realizes that it's time for JDM to go to either bomb site right now, or even to fake him out. It is pure mind games between these two players right now, as JDM moves forwards through to the connector position, and we've got Pimp looking to see if he can get a better spot. If it is true that JDM indeed is going to the A bomb site, which I think now Pimp realizes with the time left, he has to have been doing that. And he's going to be starting to move in as the bomb goes down, and it's confirmed it's the A site. And in comes Pimp for the 1v1. Nice smoke grenade. That's going to be very annoying for Pimp. He's going to go. Is he going to go through it? Looks like he will. JDM close there, spots the pixel, and he gets the shot. JDM delivers for CLG in the clutch, pulls out 4 frags there. And CLG move to gain points.
So there's chance for North America just yet. We have the last force buy, what could be the last force buy coming out for SK. So now the Mag 7 will be the highlights of their purchase with 4 pistols behind it. What play will SK make? Will they hold angles? Will they go for a stack? Will they go for a push with a stack? We will soon find out. CLG with full utility in terms of grenades. JDM onto that AWP as well. And indeed, we see Pimp going for the deep play over towards A, as per usual. The rest of the team over towards B. Standard for, well, kind of standard. There's nobody looking towards the boost from drop zone at the moment. Tarek's doing 2 jobs at once with 4 players over towards CLG, maybe with nightmares from a previous SK push.
Absolutely. This is a scary situation because SK, they do have a lot of ability to defend with what they have. It's just really if CLG can, play the fact-finding game, get the information to avoid the chosen locations of SK, and teams can stack on either side of this map. It can be quite difficult sometimes to figure out where where the bulk of the players are. And there you go, Modi spotted, takes down Tarek, a drop, and that is potentially a gun claimed there for the SK Gaming side. Indeed, Freeze is going to pick up an AK-47. Asilian's in there, but he is quickly denied. And JDM will cover the flank, gets the tag on the legs, finishes off with a pistol. CLG looking good for the close right now. It's just 1 player left. Magic's Boy, he's got armor and a helmet, but only a 5-7. And here he goes. There's not much choice in this situation but to go for it. And there it is. JDM shuts it down with a 2 kill in the round. 16-10, CLG close map 2, and that will bring us to a third.
Indeed, didn't look likely at some points there, but CLG managed to close it out very nicely indeed. So SK, will their confidence be shaken going into the third map of this best of 3? And yeah, that's SK and CLG. What kind of frame of mind will they be going into Everpass with? We will find out soon enough. First, we will go to a break, but we had lots of great individual performances from multiple CLG players, and they'll need it to continue in the third map. We will see you back here soon.
Yes, welcome back indeed. You can see the North American fans have woke up. They've got something to cheer about. There you go. The Moses family are here. So anyway, no, a good performance. Some great individual performances from CLG. Although I do have to say that there were some individual bad performances from SK Gaming key members.
Such as?
Exactly. Freeze, for instance.
Oh yeah. The freeze round was that's bad. That's one of those things.
I haven't seen a freeze that bad since Arnie in that Batman film. Put it that way. That's an incredible reference.
You saw me looking at you.
He was
like,
amazing.
Yeah. So
in that movie.
No, he definitely wasn't.
The worst Batman movie of them all.
Yeah, absolutely.
Disagree. Moving on.
Why am I not surprised? So let's talk about it. Obviously, there were some key moments in the game, highlights-wise. Let's kind of rewind and go right back. There was a save round from JDM where he managed to kill 2 people and get an AK here. And this really set the CLG momentum going.
And it's incredible too, because you want to talk about some individual mistakes. Magisboy had a Molotov, and they actually Molotov the left to force the player out of that position, but didn't Molotov to the right. But yeah, freeze. That's when you sit there and you can see the frustration. Just if you take your time, if you zoom in, that's 100% kill.
Yeah.
Every player on CLG actually had a moment where they kind of showed up, and most of all, the guy that we were kind of giving a hard time before this, Cutler, ended up having an amazing map.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that in a second. This was huge. This was the 1v1. So JDM and Pimp have been playing, push me, pull you, non-stop until to get to this point, and then JDM delivers. It was actually a really intelligent play by JDM. He went to A,
took his time,
and just gained Pimp. But this was the thing I wanted to talk about, right? This is why, if you ever get upset about an analysis desk criticizing a player you like, it works. Look, we wrecked Cutler going into this game, and he's actually stepped up. That's the best performance he's had, not just at ELEAGUE.
I subbed in. Rich.
Is that what it was?
That's what happened.
That's why I didn't see you.
They have the wrong picture here.
No, it's actually the right
Moses was playing.
It was you 5 years ago, before esports happened.
And again with JDM, though, it's up and down, which is not like him, but at least he's up right now, right?
Yeah, but that's the key thing. When JDM is up and everything's going well for you, CLG always have a chance. And the contrasting fortunes here is you had Freeze, who was coming in hot. He looked really, really good. but Cobblestone just seems to be a very unforgiving map for AWPers these days. Like, it seems to be a lot more difficult than previous iterations of the map, at least.
It's hard because the CTs can play passive, and you won't be able to get any real picks. You know, they can just kind of chill.
Which is kind of Freeze's go-to right there. He goes a lot for picks. He tries to find the other team making mistakes. With Cobble, like he says, there's no real chance unless they actually like give it to you, which smart teams won't.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. We've talked about Freeze and his AWPing, where he kind of plays within himself. Well, he knows that being that aggressive style, looking for a battle, looking for a duel, that's not his style of AWPing. And it's going to be all about those executions. But yeah, I mean, also, it's just... CLG did a great job of I mean, there's some of these individual stands. They had the Tarek 3-kill on the first gun round. Yeah. I mean, they had some really, really good performances that keep that impact from happening on the SK side.
Was there anything else you really noticed that was kind of falling apart for SK Gaming, Mo?
I don't think for one thing really was falling apart. It was kind of like a whole team thing. Not really anyone was showing up the way they need to do. Early on, Magist Boy was doing his thing, but as we've seen with this team, that he's not. There has to be one other person to kind of step up to back him right there, because he can't do it all by himself.
I think it's also more just we saw in the first map, SK just ran out on train and just ran all over CLG. There was no good performances. This is the CLG players. This is what they look like when they're alive. I mean, they have some good things in the playbook, and they have some good defensive stands, and we saw that now finally because the individual performance is there to back it up.
Yeah, and we brought the Magic Boy stats up just so we can turn him again. Solid performance.
I mean, this isn't even bad. Like,
that isn't bad at all.
Beat pretty badly.
It is the second time this week he's gotten under 20 kills. Only the second time.
Only the second time, and the lowest he's gone is 18.
Yep. So he's had a fantastic week. But yeah, I mean, sometimes you can't expect him to. I mean, even Mo, you said in the green room when we were watching the game, you're like, I don't think I've ever seen like one player in so long just literally dominate map after map for his team.
He needs someone else to step up to be. I mean, he like going into map 3. If I'm SK, I think, all right, Magist Boy is going to do his job. He's going to get us in position to win. But one of us 4 have to make it. Step up a little bit and help him, and then we can secure the win.
Here's the final question I want to get into before we go to a commercial break, and that is just about Freeze. You saw him getting very frustrated, very animated. I know from my time writing about teams like this and going to events that sometimes on SK Gaming in particular, that tilt, that can be very infectious, and they do take their cues from Freeze. When he's happy and not shouting and slamming desks and berating people, great guy to play with, right? But when the chips are down, sometimes he doesn't stay focused, shall we say.
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
I know exactly what you mean.
Does it sound like anyone, Mo?
The only thing I could think of is with the young players on the team, that could maybe affect them. We haven't seen any... I personally haven't seen it affecting them so far. I know they haven't had any real bad performances where he tilted, but it seems to me like Tassilian and Magist Boy are still kind of like keeping calm, and the veterans are veterans. They're not going to freak out over a guy getting mad.
You agree with that?
Oh, I definitely do, and the team's even admitted to it, which is the worrying part. I mean, if that slamming is going to get into their heads a little bit. They've talked about they just completely change when someone goes on tilt, and it just spreads to the whole team. So hopefully the loss, they just get to reset themselves in between and come back and all unhappy.
All right, gentlemen. Well, we're going to find out if they can reset themselves. So we're going to reset ourselves. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and when we come back, we're going to bring you the deciding map in our final semi-final between SK Gaming and CLG. Make sure you join us.